Hi everyone, this is Jesse, VOCEL's Executive Director. Thanks for tuning in. This series is called Little Kids, Big Ideas, and if you're a longtime listener, I'm so glad you're back. If you're listening for the first time, welcome. Most of the recordings are focused on strategies for parenting, grandparenting, raising our kids, teaching our kids. This time, though, I want to focus on us grown-ups, on ourselves. But spoiler alert, everything we discuss today will also benefit your kids, likely more than you even realize. Let's dive in. In case you missed it, a new report was released by the U.S. Surgeon General a couple months ago called Parents Under Pressure. If you have time, the full report is linked in the caption of this recording. It's definitely worth a read. But here are the cliff notes. 3 quick things to know from the report. First, parent stress is at such a high that the Surgeon General is calling it a significant public health issue. The report itself starts out with the old adage that parenting is one of the best jobs ever and also one of the hardest. It goes on to report that while parenting has always been challenging, the demands of parenting have evolved. All the traditional challenges of raising children remain. And on top of those, we have new stressors that previous generations just didn't, like the dizzying complexity of managing social media and screen time, or parents' concerns about the youth mental health crisis, and the epidemic of loneliness that disproportionately affects young people and parents. It really is a lot to worry about. In fact, 48% of parents nationwide say that most days their stress is completely overwhelming. Here's the second highlight. The report's recommendations really affirm VOCEL's model of parent support. The report highlights 7 types of stressors that parents experience, and one of them is parental isolation and loneliness. To combat this, the report recommends that communities create opportunities to cultivate supportive social connections among parents and caregivers, and to strengthen and establish school-based support programs. VOCEL does both of those. And the third highlight of the report, the final section outlines a handful of strategies parents and caregivers themselves can use. The first strategy starts out with a message you've all likely heard before. Remember, caring for yourself is a key part of how you care for your family. I can almost hear the groans, but it's true, we can't pour from an empty bucket, right? But what the report then goes on to say next is much less talked about. The report reads, some activities that can help reduce stress include exercise, sleep, a balanced diet, mindfulness, meditation, and this last one is the one I want to emphasize, activities that bring joy. Activities that bring joy. Another word for that, something that we don't often associate with adults but should, play. There's real evidence that making time for joy and play is a stress reliever. Play, in children and in adults, releases endorphins, which are also known as feel-good chemicals. And beyond that, it reduces cortisol. In fact, in studies where animals are prevented from playing, they see an increase in cortisol, also known as the stress hormone. So science confirms that play matters. Now at VOCEL, we are big believers in play for children for lots of reasons, because they learn better, it reduces stress, promotes mental and emotional well-being, because play helps them make friends and learn essential problem-solving skills. But if research is telling us, and our own experiences are confirming, that parental stress is at concerningly high levels, and the evidence shows that play is an effective antidote, I'd argue that we need to be normalizing everyday play for adults in the same way as we've normalized the importance of taking deep breaths or staying hydrated or getting healthy amounts of sleep. So, okay, play matters for our well-being, but why talk about this right now? Because walk into any Target and the halls have been decked. It's no secret that the holidays are coming fast and furious, and the holiday season can bring lots of stressors. Travel, time with family, which can be great but can also be stressful, discussions of the political environment, financial stress with the costs of gifts and travel, and more. This all can add up to lots of stress. If I were a doctor, I'd prescribe us all a daily dose of play. A daily dose of play. That might seem like a lot, but it's easier than we think. Because just like when we talk about play for kids, when we talk about play for adults, it can come in many forms. Here are a few ways to narrow it down. First, you choose. Do you want something social or something solo? You could work in a daily or weekly game with your kids, or your husband or wife or partner or a friend. Or you could opt for a daily bit of independent play, a little routine just for yourself. Second choice, do you want something old or something new? Maybe there's a game you remember playing as a child or on the holidays that you can bring back. Maybe it's time to teach your kids a card game that your grandparents taught you way back when. Or on the flip side, maybe there's an activity you've always wanted to try but never have. For me, that's painting. Why not now? And the third choice, do you want something structured or something free-flowing? Do you prefer something where all you need to do is follow directions? Then grab a small Lego kit at the store, or a tiny jigsaw puzzle, or a card game like solitaire. Or maybe you'd rather do something open-ended. Then set a timer for 5 to 10 minutes on your phone to build with Play-Doh or use crayons to draw. Now we know that if we don't plan for this, if we aren't intentional, it won't happen. So before you do your next thing, whether it be picking up the kids from school, leaving the car to head into the grocery store, walking into the office, or whatever else, I want you to take 30 seconds to think about just one way you could leverage play and playfulness for your well-being this season. Maybe even put a reminder in your calendar. Okay, last thing before I sign off for today. One last tip on this topic. If you are traveling this holiday season, whether for Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, Christmas, winter break, you're going to pack toys for the kids, right? This time, I want you to also pack something for yourself. When things get stressful or you feel yourself getting annoyed or reaching your limit, yes, you could go for a walk or take a nice shower or some deep breaths, or you could go into another room, take out that Play-Doh or Lego kit, and give yourself the gift of 5 minutes of play. 5 minutes. Your endorphins go up, cortisol goes down, holidays, here we come. Thank you again for tuning in today, and happy playing.